Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Here we go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. Oh, I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. What this life is about. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Here we go. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. It's about love and it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love and it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love and it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Woo! Here we go. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors and let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Welcome to Unity Comox Valley. A positive path for spiritual living, a practical path for spiritual living. We come together in the form of a spiritual community so that together we can reinforce our principles, we gather strength from each other, comfort from each other, inspiration from each other. And in so doing, we learn to be how to be an even greater expression of the divine. So thank you for joining us today. We know that each one of us is contributing to the global experience and how important it is to be the best shining light that we can possibly be. Would you join me in our vision statement? Unity Comox Valley is a loving, caring community coming together for spiritual growth and renewal. We actively and consciously serve others by radiating God's love and joy in our daily lives. So thank you for radiating your love and joy, and thank you for all the ways that you consciously serve each other. Last week I showed you the gift of the amaryllis that I received. You may remember these beauties. There was 3 of them in the arrangement. So I learned something from this flower, something very important, a great lesson for me. I'm sure many of you have seen these flowers, perhaps you've even grown them in your own home. They start with a bulb like this, and then they grow about 1 inch a day until we get this magnificent flower. But usually, what color are they? Bright red, really brilliant, solid, bright red. So as I watched this little plant come up and the bud form and the buds start to unfurl, I could see it was not going to be red. It's not what I expected, but I appreciated its beauty. A little like 2020. Not what I expected, but has its own unique gifts. So I made a list. I was thinking about this, obviously reviewing and looking back at 2020. And I started to think of all the things that I've experienced only because of the events of 2020. And so I wrote them down as a gratitude list. And it was actually quite long list of all the things, not the usual things. I am almost every day grateful for the roof over my head, for the community in which I live, for my friends and for my family and all those things. But what do I have to be grateful for that only is happening in my life now because of the pandemic in 2020? So I invite you to do the same thing, so that along with perhaps what you might perceive as the downside of 2020, you can also see the gifts that came with it. So let's bring that into our opening prayer. And so we'll just take a moment to perhaps close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Take a deep breath. We have this wonderful process of breathing that goes on within us all the time, even when we're not even aware of it. And what it is bringing in fresh new life and letting go of what's no longer beneficial for us. A great metaphor for life. That beautiful movement of renewal, of rejuvenation, of refreshment. So as we breathe into this now moment, perhaps now with the idea of what were the gifts of 2020 for me? The unexpected joys, connections perhaps with friends and family, what you learned about yourself, witnessing the goodness of so very, very many people. How we can still be an instrument of good no matter what the circumstances are. So very, very much to be grateful for. So in this state of gratitude and amazing grace, we say thank you and amen. And now we're going to listen to a contemplation written and spoken by Brian Allard.
My meditation this morning is an opportunity for you to embrace winter. Try something you likely haven't done for a long time, maybe not since you were a kid. I invite you to bundle up for an outdoor adventure as we pursue our journey into the new year. Right now, we're going to go skating down a frozen river discovery. Skating has deep meditational qualities, largely from the need to focus the mind on staying on your feet and avoiding obstacles on your path. A good skater must be a master of balance, focus, determination, creativity, and moving past one's fears. While skating, that random chatter in the mind goes quiet. We engage moment by moment on our progress. We go into a zone where faith allows us to overcome doubt and fears, propelling us forward. Got those laces tied just right? 2 mittens pulled on? Shall we set off? Here we go. Whoa! Yes, you might wobble a little bit as you take your first few strides. If you wish, grab the hand of a prayer partner as you set off. Help each other remain steady. Together find strength and grace. Feel your senses coming alive. Sense the slight imperfections of the ice beneath your blades, the cold wind on your cheeks. The frosty air makes your toes and fingers tingle. Hear the laughter and shouts of others also out on the river, but let the sounds of your skates scratching on the hard ice and your steamy breath take you deeper into your meditative state. Even as you experience a crack in the ice or the odd rough patch, you slide forward with delight and in great anticipation. Breathe that energy into your thoughts and feelings. Make your connection to Source part of your everyday life. Spiritual strength helped you push through initial fears and doubts. Now let it empower you to navigate new landscapes ahead. Skate away. Teach your feet to fly. Here you are doing something you thought you could never do again. Break free of your limiting beliefs with each stride. Glide forward with boldness and a fiery passion for living with purpose. Awaken the powers within you as you propel gracefully on your path. There is no limit to the grand things that await us when we move forward with faith, zeal, and wonder, ready to give and receive. Take a few moments now to deepen your journey down the snowy frozen river. Bring mindful attention to the experience. Strengthen this inner quality of presence and connectedness. Skate down the river into the glowing light ahead. Let the light of your imagination illumine the path of great possibilities. As the light surrounds you, let it penetrate you, energizing your being, filling you with love, happiness, and peace. You are worry-free, gliding with ease and in perfect rhythm. Around the next corner, we see a welcoming spot for a break. We skate over to a hut, delighted to find joyful friends and prayers. We join in as they say the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Skating the river of life. Thank you, Brian, for taking us on that wonderful journey. As many of you have noticed, there are 3 or 4 people who often contribute a meditation or contemplation, and they send it to me, and then I incorporate them into these services. And I'm always amazed when I listen to them how perfectly they are aligned with either the topic that I'm going to be speaking about, or perhaps the theme of the month, or as an inspiration to me on what I'll be speaking about. And this is certainly the case with this one. When I first heard this contemplation by Brian, I thought, oh, this is going to make an amazing lesson. There is so much truth embedded in what Brian said. So let's continue the skating into a new year theme. I suspect that most of us have had skating experiences. I grew up back east, and skating was definitely an integral part of the winter experience. There was an outdoor skating rink near our home. We would go out there, of course, in the dark evenings and skate under the stars. A few of my friends had homemade skating rinks in their backyards. And even when I lived on Quadra Island, there was a small stream that fed a very small pond. And if the weather got cold enough, we would take our skates and go out there and just kind of skate around on this very, very, very teeny piece of ice. So let's start with the physical experience of skating, and then see how beautifully it aligns with the experience of our spiritual unfoldment. There's a process that we go through as we prepare for our first skate of the year. We get out the old skates, we see if they still fit, make sure the laces are good, sharpen the blades perhaps. Brian says, don't forget to tighten your laces and put on a good toque and mitts. All of this is important to do before we even get on to the ice. Once we're on the ice, we need to pay attention so that we can avoid obstacles. I remember one time on our little skating pond on Quadra Island, I ran into a little teeny twig that I didn't see, and boom, over I went. It all happened so fast because I didn't see it. When we first start skating, we might be a little nervous. We might even wobble a bit, right? Perhaps we haven't skated for a long time, and maybe it's our first time and we're afraid that we're going to fall. Well, everyone falls. Everyone falls. What the wish is as you're going down is it's not going to hurt too much. So what's the remedy for this nervousness? Well, two things. And then first is faith. Brian mentions faith. Faith helps us move forward past our fears. Faith strengthens our desire, the desire within us, and helps us move over the scary parts. Faith keeps the vision of what we want to accomplish alive in us so that we keep going. And the other thing that helps us when we get a little anxious, grabbing a hand. I remember so many times, especially when I was younger, when my older brother would skate up and catch me just as I was about to fall and grab my hand and steady me. And it was such a reassuring experience. And then sometimes we would just skate holding hands just for fun. We all felt so much stronger and a little bit braver when we were holding on to someone else. So skating does not need to be a solitary experience. One of the joys of skating is to be in touch with what is around us as we move. We can listen to the sounds. Brian mentions the scraping of the skate blade on the ice. Perhaps there's birds that are flying in the air. Perhaps the voices of other people laughing as they are also skating. We can feel the air on our faces. So really, it's a sensory experience, isn't it? And as we look around, we can see other skaters nearby, and perhaps if we're skating on a river, as Brian suggests, we are seeing also the scenery pass by. So soon we get into a rhythm, one foot in front of the other, maintaining our balance, moving with the flow. Now let's take a look at all of those skating tips and see how they are just what we need to start this journey into the new year. Remember, 2021 is new to each one of us. No one on the planet has traveled this path this year before. We are each moving into new territory. So how do we start? Well, let's go back to Brian's 4 steps. Preparation. Do we have what we need? Instead of finding skates and toques and mitts, we can look to the gifts of spirit that we bring along with us on this journey. The gifts of wisdom, faith, love. The 12 spiritual powers represented by the candles that we lit a couple of weeks ago. We have our understanding of what it means to be a spiritual being and that we are one with infinite source. And that all of that goes wherever we go, since it is our intrinsic divine nature and we cannot be separate from it. So as we journey into the new year, it's important to remember that we are abundantly equipped to prosper and to be well. What we are taking with us is important to remember, but perhaps more importantly is to see if we are carrying any unneeded stuff with us into the new year that's not going to be helpful, that will slow us down, that will narrow our vision and consequently narrow the possibilities of our life experience. It would be like a skater carrying a backpack full of rocks. It's going to have an impact on their experience. So what do you want to carry into the new year? Did you pick up some rocks in 2020? Like, it'll take years to recover from this year. It's a dangerous world. Or, I don't trust fill in the blank. Perhaps you've picked up some assumptions, some beliefs, some attitudes, particular to this year of 2020. So part of the preparation process is reviewing where you are at this moment, not where you've been in the past, not where you hope to be at the end of 2021. We only need to look at this now moment. We have all experienced an extraordinary year, and it is now behind us. I came across a profound sentence by the poet T.S. Eliot. For last year's words belong to last year's language, and this year awaits another voice. I'll read it again. For last year's words belong to last year's language, and this year awaits another voice. Can you let go of last year's words, last year's language? Can you open up to be a new voice and have a new language as you go into this year? Brian reminds us that with spiritual strength, we can move into new landscapes and break free of limiting beliefs. So after preparation, we go into step 2. So now we are ready to step onto the ice, or in other words, take off into this new year. What's important at this stage is focus. As we come onto the ice, we need to pay attention to avoid obstacles. And as we move into the new year, we also need to be paying attention and to make sure that our attention and intention and our focus is right in front of us, right where we want it to be. Every year has 365 days. Every 24 hours, one of those days ends and another one begins. So are we focused on yesterday? Are we looking backwards at the same time as we are trying to move forward? Sounds a little dangerous, doesn't it? Very possibly we will stumble and fall. Or are we looking at the months ahead and tripping over something right at our feet? We all stumble, so be kind to yourself. Just like ice skating, everyone falls, and more than once. Brian said our imagination illumines and lights the path ahead. So consider what lights your path. What shows you the way? Perhaps it is the word on your white stone, or your daily meditation practice, or perhaps reading the daily word in the morning shines the light on your day. So keep shining that light ahead of you. And what happens when we feel overwhelmed? When we feel lost? When we don't know what to do? What is the key to keep us going? faith and friends. Brian reminds us of our power of faith, the one that's always associated with January, the one we use as a starting point for every endeavor, the one that is as a starting point for every journey and every new experience. We always start with faith. So this is a new year. Let's start with our faith firmly in hand. The other thing that helps us on the journey into the new year is to remember we are not alone. We do not have to figure it all out by ourselves. We have friends, perhaps family, who will listen to us, support us, who will celebrate with us when we achieve something, who will encourage us when we need a little boost. And the last step is to celebrate. We are always growing and learning, and often we don't give ourselves credit for that. So take time and to see and to reflect on the changes in your life, how you've matured spiritually, how you show up differently now than you did a few years ago. Some of this growth takes place over a long period of time, long expanses of time, and we might not notice if we don't stop and look for it. I'd like to share a quote with you from an inspirational website I enjoy. Whether our progress is fast or slow, we deserve to congratulate ourselves for our successes. To remind yourself of the insights you have gained with time, temporarily adopt an outsider's perspective and carefully consider how your life in the present differs from the range of experiences you've lived in the past. Reminding yourself of these strengths, aptitudes, and inner qualities can help you accept that you are not the same person you were 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years ago. Your attitudes, opinions, and values were likely markedly different. If you have difficulty giving yourself credit for these changes, think about the goals you've realized, the lives you've touched, and the wisdom you acquired over the past years. Recognizing growth is neither boastful nor immodest. Evolution is a natural fact of life and becomes a potent motivational force when celebrated. Knowing that you are brighter, stronger, and more grounded than you once were, you can look forward to the changes to come. In acknowledging your growth, you build a sturdy foundation upon which you can continue to blossom well into the future. So let's review the 4 steps. First, we prepare. Remember, we have what we need and let go of what's going to weigh us down. Second, we focus. Looking too far ahead or looking backwards will not help us move forward easily. 3, faith and friends are our steadfast companions as we travel into the new year. And lastly, don't forget to celebrate yourself. I'd like to close with a poem from Joan Borisenko. In the secret recesses of my heart, beyond the teachings of this world, calls a still small voice, singing a song unchanged from the foundations of the world. Speak to me in sunsets and in starlight. Speak to me in the eyes of a child. You who call me from a smile, my cosmic beloved, tell me who I am and who I will always be. Help me to remember.
Good morning. Here we are, a new year. And as we start this new year, we remember our practices, our spiritual practice. And the lessons and practices are designed to awaken the longing within our hearts for reunion with the divine through prayer, meditation, and breath awareness. We will set our intention to become aware of the limiting, fearful thoughts that obscure our awareness of divine presence, and to transform them into fuel for awakening our hearts to love. Having considered our ideas about God, we will move into the experience of that divine through meditation, prayer, an ancient practice called the Egg of Light. We are not alone in our search for divine union. The angels of night and morning are always by our sides. The darkness of winter beckons us inward so that we may discover the seed of peace lying ready within our hearts. Hear the words of the ancient ones as they echo through the long winter nights. Brother Bear is in his den, recreating in the earth's mother womb. The medicine wheel is fully open to the northern gate. And the archangels instruct us in these practices through which we realize our birthright of divine wisdom and love. So, Divine Spirit, thank you for the gift of a new day, a new month, a new year, and for awakening our minds that we may follow the longing of our hearts. And this month we ask for the help of the angels of love and wisdom in remembering that we are a part of the mind of God and therefore a part of all. May we see you in the sky and in the clouds. May we see you in the frozen waters. May we see you in the darkness as our soul rests and grows in the winter's quiet womb. May we learn to live in the present where you are. So I invite you now to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Become aware of the stillness deep within you and affirm with me, my divine beloved and I are one. My divine beloved and I are one. And as we close now, as we remember the words of our unity prayer of protection, may the light of God surround us. May the love of God enfold us. May the power of God protect us. May the presence of God watch over us. Wherever we are, God is, and we are divine. Blessed be.
Praise my life, I raise my life in the name of love. I praise the world, I raise the world in the name of love. I praise the world, I raise the world in the name of love. I praise my neighbor, I raise my neighbor in the name of love. I praise my neighbor, I raise my neighbor sister, I raise my sister in the name of love. I praise my sister, I raise my sister in the name of love. I praise my brother, I raise my brother in the name of love. I praise my brother, I raise my brother in the name of love. I praise my family, I raise my family in the name of love. I praise my family, I raise my family in the name of love. I praise the children, I raise the children in the name of love. I praise the children, I raise the children in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise my life, I raise my life in the name of love. I praise my life, I raise my life in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love. I praise myself, I raise myself in the name of love.
Thank you, Brian and Diane, for contributing your words, your voice, and your heart to today's service. What's coming up? 2 opportunities to connect with your Unity community friends every single week. We're going to have a fellowship time every Sunday at 11:30 on Zoom. The link will be in the newsletter, so come on in and join us 11:30 on Sunday mornings and see and listen to and hear your beloved friends from Unity Comox Valley. That's on Sundays. On Fridays, there's another opportunity to get together. Well, not so long ago, you probably recall that we had a weekly event called TLC, Teach, Learn, and Connect. And so we're going to revive that, of course, in a different format. It is a Zoom get-together. It's on Fridays at 10:30. So every Friday at 10:30, you can come on and join in the discussion. We choose a topic to talk about, and it's really wonderful to hear everyone's perspective and insights. We have some very, very rich discussions. So the link for that TLC on Friday will also be in the newsletter. Next Sunday, we begin a 5-week series. The title is Ask Yourself This: Questions of Self-Inquiry and Discovery. So Pat Clarkson and I created this series, and we will be taking turns presenting the Sunday talks. Unity Comox Valley is a 100% self-supporting organization, and your gifts make it possible for us to bring the Unity message of spiritual transformation to all who are seeking it. We have many, many people joining us on our website and for these, for both the meditations and the talks on the website that do not live in the Comox Valley area. And so we welcome all of you, and we are just delighted that the message is expanding beyond our physical place here in the valley. With gratitude in your hearts and minds, would you please join me in our love offering affirmation? Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Diane Jung sent me this prayer that I'd like to close with. Great mystery. I awaken this morning with deep gratitude for the gift of life. May the renewal of faith in this season be the ground from which perfect peace will grow. May that peace extend as a blessing to all beings. And may the light in my heart pour through my eyes and touch the world with wonder. May I be present in this moment so that I may remember who I really am and meet this world with the kindness and grace of your Spirit. And so it is. And now the peace song. Namaste. Here are some of the ways you can stay connected with your spiritual community. You can send a thought of the day. You can read the daily word. You can make a song request. If you don't know the title, just send a phrase or a couple of words and we'll find it for you. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter, which includes updates from Unity Comox Valley and also resources from all around the Unity movement. Email us at info@unitycomoxvalley.com. Write to me, to the board. We want to hear from you.